Go for it.
Are we live?
Hey! What up? All of the world can see us now.
Think all the world is watching?
I do.
Yeah.
So
We're
we're Brian,
over 7 billion viewers right now.
and we just found out
8 viewers.
8 viewers. Okay.
8 billion.
Yeah, it
8.
counts by billions.
It counts by billion. We just found out that not only do Brad and Ryan have a name, Brian, but Hannah and Annie have a name, and it is Hanny. And Brad did not intend to make that up, but he did it.
I did it on accident, but it's gonna stick because
Yeah.
Ryan's gonna see.
We're gonna stay with that.
We also saw the world's biggest cake today.
Yes, we did. It is our. Should we say who's? I mean,
It's Becky's
right?
birthday.
It's Becky's
It's
birthday.
the boss lady's birthday.
Yeah.
That's why
We
the
can say
cake is
that.
gigantic, because I had to feed everybody,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great, and it was covered in fruit, which I am not always a fan of, but because it's
It's
natural,
like fresh fruit.
it's natural sugar,
Shaved almonds.
and it was good.
Yeah.
Super good. Good story, guys. Great
Thank you
job.
guys. Thank you for being here. We will see you later. Good.
Actually, though, we do have the YouTube poll for you. The question is, will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Yes or no? So what do you guys think? I know we're going to talk about it later on the show.
Yes.
Annie's giving you a hint.
Yes. I think that's a good question.
And then at 12:25, we're going to have Rep. Mary Miller on. I think we're going to talk to her about the prospects of a red wave hitting a blue state like Illinois and maybe some other things. But she's going to be on at 12:25. Lincoln's America.
Because America, we're
Woohoo!
going to talk about
Oh,
a very particular state in which the red wave could very much affect, actually.
And it's not Illinois.
It's not Illinois.
And then at 107, we'll have Jim Carafano on. And we'll talk to him
China.
about China. And, oh gosh, that could go on forever about China, so I'm not going to dig into that. We'll be here forever.
I need to get you a cart number. You just reminded me.
Yeah, it's cool. I took care of it,
Oh,
Ryan.
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Which means I got to play that for Annie before I play it on air for the first time.
I haven't heard it yet.
It's pretty simple.
It's yeah.
Jim Carafano will have a new intro.
I was going to say, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see. I like it. I think it thumps a bit.
It thumps.
Yeah. Which
Oh,
which isn't always something I do, but I think with Jim Carafano, I thought, well, let's do some thumping.
Let's make this intro thump.
It's just like Bambi's sidekick.
Thumper.
I didn't know that.
Have you ever seen Bambi? I haven't either.
I just read a weird
Really?
fun fact about Bambi that it was banned in communist countries because it was supposed to be an allegory for something when it first came out. I have to look that up again. It was super interesting.
For what?
I don't remember
Let's
enough
ask
to
me
share
for it
the
again.
story well.
Oh, yeah.
I've got this really cool secret story, super awesome, that I don't know.
I read it. I was like, "What? You gotta be kidding me!" And then
I want
it's
your
well,
autograph.
it's something else.
Nothing shocks me with stuff being banned in communist countries.
Yeah,
So.
especially at that time.
That's
it? Okay.
That's it on the show sheet.
Okay, good. All right, we all set?
Yep.
Annie?
Sign this piece of paper.
No, that's not my signature.
It's not?
It's been forged.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Who forged that? What does it say?
Don't. Okay. We'll see you guys on the other
Paint,
side.
they're in and out and
Okay.
done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun. We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
Becco's new dishwashers use 1/3 the energy and half the water of U.S. standards for dishwashers. And from now until December 31st, you can save up to $200 in gift card rebates on eligible models. Visit Becco.com for more details. That's Becco.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's Tuesday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Glad that you are here with us today. I'm so excited to talk to Jim Carafano today at 105. Why? Well, because have you seen the stories about China and what they've been doing here lately? The flexing, Brad, that they've kind of been pushing out publicly.
No.
Okay. You're going to want to hear Jim Carafano's take on it. Militaristically, that's not a word, but it's close to one. Militaristically. I think that's the word.
Militaristically.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. Guys, this is the day that you want to stick to the Annie Frey Show. Because my coffee, I have it in hand in my Scooter's mug here, and it's pretty full. It should be empty by now, but for whatever reason, it isn't. When you think about we talk about news issues, we talk about political issues. Brad, you're married, you have a wife. I'm sure that there have been a time or two where there have been disagreements in the home, but Terry is lovely, which means she was probably right and you were probably wrong.
Yeah.
That's the attitude that sometimes you got to take.
Yeah, there's been maybe three times.
Maybe three times.
That we've disagreed. Otherwise, we're always together.
Yeah. There are things that are going to take place in your home, and certainly 6 people in my house, there's going to be disagreements that take place in my home. The majority of those disagreements, they affect your life. They change your mood. If it's a disagreement between the grown-ups, that spills over onto the kids. If the kid got in trouble at school, that can change the mood of the mom and the dad when they go to work. These things happen. They're within the home, but they affect you, and they kind of start to tentacle out into the world, and you got to kind of try to handle that issue that you're dealing with in your own home when you yourself go out into the world and interact with other people who have nothing to do with that. I find that as a interesting correlation to this country in this moment right now. Because in our house as a country, we've got a lot of trouble. We have a very dysfunctional family. And we are a blended family. That's always been one of the strengths of the United States, was that our heritage as a culture, we can't trace it back to the beginning of time. Yes, people from another country came here. Yes, there were instances where people from another country who came to this country drove out indigenous people from this country and caused conflict. Conflict from the very beginning for the European influence on the Americas. That is history. That's what happened. I think the United States has acknowledged that and recognized that, and you can't undo it. It was like we were talking last week, Friday, and Ask Me Anything when Brad was talking. Brad's question to the room was, what was something bad that happened to you that really turned out to be a blessing? Brad talked about having a heart attack at 28, 27.
27.
27. And that has drastically changed Brad's life, both his physical outlook and also your mental outlook. And I talked about a conflict that took place about 5 years ago in my family's life that unplugged us and ejected us from the foundational understanding of life as we knew it, and we had to go reestablish roots elsewhere. We've done that. We've taken care of it. God took care of us through the whole thing. In both of those instances, I'll speak for myself, you can know the history of what's happened to you. You can be angry at it. You can be ashamed of it. You could be proud of how you handled something in the midst of there being something that is just inherently bad. You can grow out of it. You can evolve from it. You can learn from it. And you can move into a place that is better. And once you arrive at the better place, that doesn't mean what happened in history that was bad isn't still a part of who you are. Brad, I would assume, I don't know, well, how much time goes by without you being reminding yourself that, yeah, I'm a 3-time heart attack?
3-time.
Brad, you've dealt with
3-0.
You're on the winning side of that, and we appreciate that, and that's where that ends. I told him he's not allowed to have any more heart attacks. It's part of his job offer here. But Brad, how often are you reminded that you are a person who's had 3 heart attacks?
Daily. I mean, there's always something daily that reminds me that I'm a person that had 3 heart attacks, be it a weird, arrhythmia beat or something. It's weird because since it's happened, I pay way more attention to what's going on, and I can, I feel my heartbeat, and sometimes my heart rhythm is a little different, and I feel that, I notice that. That happens probably on the daily, but like even if it's just like food choices or something like that, it's like, oh, hey, look, I'm gonna grab some dinner. Well, I'm gonna get a salad this time. I'm not gonna get the big old fried hamburger with the I never eat anything that's called the triple bypass or anything like that. I always avoid those.
That.
Yeah, it's like those are easy. Daily?
Do you need anyone else to be reminding you on the regular of your heart attacks, or do you think you've got that on your own?
I've got that. Yeah, I've got that under control.
And it's affected the way you live your life now?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Would you say that you have a choice in how to live your life as somebody who's survived 3 heart attacks, that you have a choice in the physical things you do, but also the mental way you approach that?
Yeah, you always have a choice. That's something that has always stuck out to me about that. I mean, be it a knee injury or whatever, you have a choice once the bad thing happens of how you're going to react and respond to it. You have that choice. Stuff happens to you that you have no control over. I would argue that I actually did have some control over this, and it was poor life decisions in my life that led up to that first heart attack. But I have a choice to say, okay, well, this was a bad thing. How do I make the most of this? Or what is the lesson that I need to learn from it? And so, again, there's always a choice. You look at it and you say, how do I respond to this? How do I grow from this?
Is there any point in any of this where pretending like the heart attacks didn't happen or living like the heart attacks didn't happen is better for you?
No, it's never better for you. And sometimes it's easier for you, but it's never better for you.
And if someone were to say to you that we shouldn't talk about that, it happened and it's bad and we should forget it and we should erase it from your past, that would not serve your purpose.
No, that's not going to work.
That would not be a loving thing to do to you.
That would be a very unloving thing to do to me. You'll be fine. We're moved past that. That was in your past. We don't have to worry about that anymore. That'd be very unloving.
Well, I don't really see, and correct me publicly here on air if you disagree with me, Brad, but I don't really see how the lessons that we've learned historically that have been painful lessons for this country to learn, for the world to learn. When it comes to power, the distribution of power, the controlling of people, the moving of money, the autonomy of nations, we have a lot of history in the world, but specifically in this country. And we have a lot of situations where we can identify this country is going through these motions. Well, we've seen this before. Should the past matter today in how we observe these different countries, their rise to power, their craving for power, for more power, which there's not really a point where they go, okay, we've made it. We have all the power we need. That's all, guys. We're done here. will just stay status quo. This level of power is enough for me. That never happens in a country where the government is top heavy over the people. There's always more power to be had, which is more control over the people that they rule. And the whole idea of the United States of America is this idea that that power always is retained with the people. We have an incredibly weak administration right now. And if you're paying attention to what China is doing, their push to increase their military, to increase their position in the world relationships, to become the global leader in economy, in military, in power. And you see what this president is doing on a regular basis, and where the Democratic Party, his party, will not question anything that he's doing. Brad, you comb through sound every day of clips of all the news stations, of everything on the internet. I mean, you're more engrossed in it than I am because you're picking and choosing what's worthy of our time when we're looking to have, we've got 20 cuts today, and I might get to 6 or 7 of them. We have to pare it down. What Democrat out there that's elected, that has power, not somebody who's paid to be a pundit to say something to get people's attention, because that's a very different thing. What Democrat out there that has power right now is saying this party is taking this country in a bad direction?
I thought you were going to say which party is, or which Democrat. The only person that I can maybe kind of think of would be Kirsten Sinema. She'd be the only one. Generally, I mean, up until last week, Tulsi Gabbard, because she was technically still a Democrat.
And she left the party. She didn't become a Republican.
No, even though she was on her way out, she's like, this is going the wrong way. And I respect her for fighting as long as she did, but there's not a lot. I mean, especially when it comes to voting Democrats. I mean, when you look at how a House vote goes, it's usually all hands on deck, everybody on board, we're going this direction. Even the ones that are like, this is going to kill me in my district.
They go by the party.
They go by the party, and they're sacrificing their places in those districts.
If they go against the party and they choose to run for re-election, the party may not support them in that election, which means that they lose their power. This happens on both sides of the aisle, not just a Democrat issue. It is a Republican issue as well. It's the problem of overbloated big government. And big Republican government is still big government. Here's the deal. You have to ask yourself if you're willing to say that you're proud to be an American. You have to ask yourself if the idea of living in this country with every scar and bruise that comes along with being an American is worth saying that you're still proud to be an American. There is an active party that is working to deconstruct every tradition, every cultural norm, every expectation that people have for a sense of normalcy, which is even a bad word to utter on the air. There is an active measure to deconstruct every single thing about this country that is normal. Up until about this point in time, they've been able to do that under the umbrella of embracing diversity, of celebrating differences, of looking at a crowd of people and seeing a bunch of people who don't walk like you, who don't talk like you, who don't look like you, who don't feel like you, and saying, this is all good. This diversity is good for America. Guess what? That message was correct. The idea that this country is stronger than any sort of, skeleton in the closet that exists in a way that you don't talk about it, you don't bring it out, but this is our history. I mean, if you think about France, if you think about Italy, if you think about Germany, if you think about England, if you think about China, if you think about Australia, all of these countries, even Australia, all of these countries have this sort of long-standing, from the beginning of time, history of who they are as a country, and they've evolved over time out of this millennia of existence. Our country is an incredibly young country. It was founded in a way that is controversial in 2022. I looked at my phone because I was looking into the next month. November 1st, the holidays that pop up on my phone that I can't seem to adapt which ones I want on my calendar and which ones I don't. November 1st, first day of American Indian Heritage Month. Well, that's because of Thanksgiving. And it's important in our culture today to make sure that when we have Thanksgiving, that we also acknowledge where Thanksgiving came from and what Thanksgiving did to other people. It's important to understand that history. I'm not opposed to bringing that history into my life for my kids to understand what that happened, for them to be educated. But today we're being told that in a way that is to show us shame. And we have to understand that in our own homes, in our own personal life experiences, when bad things happen to us, when disagreements happen within our walls, that we have to figure out how to become stronger because of them and not forget about them, because if we forget about them, then we'll repeat the same mistakes because we wouldn't have learned the lessons. To be a strong country and to look at who you are as an American right now and say, I am really proud to be an American. There are people who are going to politically push shame on you for being so bold to say that. Ignore that, because there is so much to be proud of in this country. There are so many things that only get to exist and flourish here in this country. And in October, when we celebrate or denigrate Columbus Day, and then we go into November and we have Thanksgiving, but we also have we have the Native American Celebration Day. We also have Christmas coming up, but we have Hanukkah and we have Kwanzaa and we have Christmas. Listen, all of these things exist, but whatever one makes you proud, own it. Be proud of who that makes you and what that makes you feel and the reasons why you celebrate that. And in the midst of saying, yeah, I'm pretty excited about Columbus Day, think he was a great guy, glad he founded this country. High fives all around. That doesn't make you a hateful person. If somebody disagrees with you, that's American. But they don't get to denigrate you in a way that you should feel that you have to cave if you disagree with them. That's the difference right now in this country. The dissenters, the people who don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving, the people who want to make Christopher Columbus somebody who led an evil empire, the people who want to shame you for celebrating Christmas, they're actually few and far between. There aren't a lot of them. Don't give them a more powerful voice because they happen to have more microphones and cameras and podcasts and movies and album releases. And don't give them a more powerful voice than they really deserve. Let them dissent. Respect their right to dissent. That's the number one First Amendment. But don't give up on being proud of who you are. Just say it's a lifestyle choice. That should count. Let's take a quick break. Just a few minutes here, and we're going to be back with Representative Mary Miller. She is looking to win her race once again for the 15th district in Illinois, and it looks good. We're going to talk to her about the red wave. Is it coming? Is it going to hit Illinois? Is it going to benefit Illinois? Are we going to have a spoonful of what the rest of the country is likely going to experience once November gets here? Stick around. We'll be right back.
22 years old and looking good. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
A couple things about Slim 180 right here that I want you to understand. You can lose a lot of weight before the holiday season gets here. We still got a little over a month before Thanksgiving gets here. I lost in a month 22 pounds on the HCG program with Slim 180. You could get yourself in, January 1st, New Year's resolution shape before the holidays even get here. Why would you wait? Don't put this off any longer. Right now, they have amazing 50% off some of their programs at Slim 180. This is a great deal. This is not something they do regularly. So go to Slim 180 and just talk to them. You don't have to walk in and sign on the dotted line and sign your life away. It's not that scary. It's actually really motivating and really exciting. They have a nutritional guidance program. They have the Crave program. They're going to talk to you about what got you to put the weight on so that they can help you get the weight off. And it works, folks. It's really that simple. It works for me when I need to lose weight post-baby, post-COVID. Slim 180 is the destination for me to do it. It works. It's worked for me, and I think it'll work for you as well. Go to myslim180.com for more info.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you that money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help your business too. Just go to getrefunds.com and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old.
The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So
interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
My daddy served in the army, where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my mother, my
and
brother.
Every American needs to be asked this one question. Could you afford to give up 1 month of your wages? 95% of Americans will say no, but that's what the Democrats have taken from you. Because 1 month of your wages is 8.3% of your overall year. Inflation is higher than that. That's why when you go to the store, eggs are higher. You've got milk higher. Your gasoline price is higher. It is the Democrat policies that brought that. That's why in the commitment to America, we will be energy independent that lower your price. We'll take away this runaway spending. We'll make America more productive to curb inflation, what the Democrats have brought us.
So that's Kevin McCarthy looking to probably be Speaker of the House. Kevin McCarthy, we'll have to see. But if the Republicans take the majority, he's led the commitment to America from the Republicans in the House, and he knows the issues that are facing everyday Americans. Let's talk to Representative Mary Miller of the 15th District, running for re-election there, about the issues facing folks in Southern Illinois. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming back on here with us. Great to have you back.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here.
So when you're talking to your constituents, Congresswoman, and, you know, we hear issues about inflation, we hear issues about abortion, we hear people talking about crime, we hear people talking about parental rights. Tell me what's the number one thing you're hearing from Illinois voters in your district about what matters to them?
Well, absolutely. People are fed up. And I think what they see is an undermining of our country overall. So there's other things that come under that, like crime and inflation. But I think people are now awake. They're alarmed, and they're not going to be as passive as we have in the past, as we've been in the past. The Democrats have been seeking to fundamentally transform our country. I think that's what we see happening, an intentional destruction of our country, from open borders to the pro-criminal lawlessness and anti-police. Inflation is raging. I don't care what they say. I don't believe it's only 8%. If you're going to talk about the things that matter to the people in my district, food, fuel, and fertilizer.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned food, fuel, and fertilizer. The state of Illinois is a diverse state, and that's one of the things that makes Illinois strong. And it does feel like in the confines of the boundaries of Illinois that a lot of times the direction of the state doesn't reflect those folks who are worried about fertilizer, even though you and I both know that the production of the farmers in Illinois affects a whole lot of people. Tell me what you think. Our YouTube live chat poll today is, will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Congresswoman Mary Miller, do you think it's going to hit Illinois like it might hit the rest of the country?
Well, I hope so. If there ever has been an environment to flip to a red state, it's been now. I mean, the crime is out of control. This Safety Act that Pritzker has implemented, and unless Darren Bailey is elected, will become law on January 1st. We're going to be releasing criminals, murderers, violent criminals. People already aren't safe on the streets in our cities, especially in Chicago. And between safety and inflation and also the attack on our children, parents are waking up. I think people had trusted the people that were in control of the education in the past, but now they're seeing that there's things going on behind parents' backs. The curriculum is outrageous. Parents want their children educated in the core subjects. They don't want their children to be taught to hate our country or to hate who God created them to be or to be hypersexualized. And I think those three issues could turn our state red, definitely.
Congresswoman Mary Miller on with us right now. She's the current representative for Illinois' 15th district and running for re-election. I think about the issues that, as somebody who is in the media, I am part of the media, I see what the media is talking about, but then I also am attending a lot of these local events for local politicians where voters from my neighborhoods are showing up, or from the county next door, they're showing up. When you're having those individual conversations with real people, not the ones that are directing, attention of the entire country on specific issues, it seems as though there's a pretty big disconnect. And the Republicans in the House putting together the Commitment to America seem to be the Republicans' best effort of saying, this is what we deem to be important because we deem the American people to believe that this is important. How do you feel about that commitment to America? Do you stand beside that?
Well, absolutely. I support the Commitment to America. People want a stable economy. They want to feel secure with our borders and also in our communities. They are strongly in support of parental rights and government accountability. But the number one thing that people are outraged over is this Safety Act. The Safety Act is a disaster for Illinois, and businesses are going to continue to leave if their employees don't feel safe. And we're going to continue to have a mass exodus out of Illinois.
I agree with that. Congresswoman Mary Miller with us, Illinois' 15th district representative running for re-election. Congresswoman, we've talked about the Safety Act on this show quite a bit from different people. We haven't had the discussion yet with you. Talk to me about the Safety Act and what about it makes you, as an Illinoisan, as a resident, a taxpayer, a voter in this state, concerned about the future safety for people who live here.
Well, they're going to be releasing criminals out onto the streets. And I believe it was Will County that is going to have to release, I believe it was 600 criminals, and 60 of them were murderers. But I mean, there's a lot of murderers are going to be released, violent criminals. Plus, we've defunded our police. And especially the people that live in the cities are really threatened. And it's interesting because at the same time, they want to take away our Second Amendment right to defend ourselves. And this is Governor Pritzker's agenda. Darren Bailey, 100% will be for law and order, for rule of law, for defending our police and supporting our police. And he will repeal the SAFETY Act.
It's so important for people to understand that they do have a choice here in November to really redirect some of the crazy things that Illinois has gotten through a supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly with a Democrat in the governor's mansion who is very committed to the far left progressive wing of the Democratic Party. Congresswoman Mary Miller, you serve in Congress. You serve in the House of Representatives. You serve along people who represent their districts in other states. Do you see an avenue from the test kitchen of progressive policies that J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, and the supermajority of Democrats, they put these policies like the SAFETY Act into the state of Illinois? Do you see kind of a desire for those types of policies to make it up to where you're serving in Congress and make it the law of the land?
Well, absolutely. The Democrats are united in their lack of appreciation for all that our country stands for, and they want to fundamentally transform it. That's what we see happening both in the state and in D.C. But J.B. Pritzker, as an out-of-touch billionaire, I believe Darren Bailey is it would be perfect for our state. He's been living in the real world, and I know him personally as a healthy fear of God. He knows he's going to give account for how he handles this opportunity, and we definitely don't need 4 more years of J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah. Real quick, before I let you go, Congresswoman Mary Miller, the line I use on a regular basis as an Illinois resident myself is that in Illinois, it doesn't have to be this way. A lot of people who are paying attention to politics right now in the state of Illinois, because it's gotten really close to home. It is a kitchen table issue. Things are not going the direction that they need to for people to continue to be prosperous in Illinois. So a lot of them pick up and leave. But there are some who don't want to pick up and leave. I'm one of them. It's my home. I feel like I should fight for it. How different can a Darren Bailey governorship, get the Republicans out of the super minority, maybe even take the House, maybe eventually the Senate, but one or the other? Just an idea where the Democrats actually have to compete. As you have represented the 15th district in Congress, and you've been able to see what it's like to be on the minority side, and now you're having discussions about what potentially you can do with the majority. On an Illinois scale, what can Illinois voters feel could change very quickly in the state of Illinois should they participate in that red wave come November?
Well, first of all, if Governor Pritzker is reelected, I just think he's going to be so emboldened with this outrageous agenda that's going to tear down everything that's good in Illinois. So you can expect more at a amped up speed of what we've seen. But if Darren Bailey gets elected, he's already shown himself to be so courageous to speak up. He was willing to sue Pritzker, and we're over the unconstitutional lockdowns. So I think, first of all, Darren Bailey will repeal the SAFETY Act and get us going on being safe and secure in our communities. And then he'll look to fix the economic problems that we have in the state. We can't keep going. We're a sinking ship. I know my husband and I are farmers. We don't want to leave either. And the reason we even got involved in politics is our children are joining the exodus out of the state. And I've talked to so many people that are sad their children and grandchildren are leaving. They want to stay, but Illinois is literally a sinking ship if we continue J.B. Pritzker's agenda.
Yeah, and we have a chance and a choice right now. That's why I encourage people, it's not enough to go vote. You've got to do more than that, and it's worth your home. So be aggressive in reaching out to these campaigns, including Congresswoman Mary Miller's, to make sure that we have some common sense representation still in all of these different offices. Congresswoman, thank you so much for the time today. We're going to follow your race, of course. I want people to go to marymillerforcongress.com to learn more about you and your fight to bring back some common sense to the state of Illinois. We always appreciate your time with us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. You as well. Congresswoman Mary Miller there, and grateful to have her on the show with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about Oregon and what the state of Oregon might be facing. Ryan's got some details and statistics and polls, of course, on that in Wiggins America. And the YouTube live chat poll, which I'd love to get your vote in. Will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Yes or no? One of the most interesting things that I've seen so far in comments on the YouTube live chat is how y'all are defining what a red wave would be that would allow you to vote yes. So, of course, you interpret that poll however you choose. And if you want to clarify why you voted the way you did, you leave a comment. And Hannah reads those in the 2:45 segment. If we get a ton of comments, we usually get to them a little bit earlier than that. Stick around. You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. We're so glad you're here. We'll be right back with Wiggins America in a minute.
Brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk.
So if you want to experience luxury right now that you can afford, because both of those things are important, visit Genesis of St. Charles during their amazing Fall for All event. New vehicles arriving daily at Genesis of St. Charles, and you can select the new Genesis model that you want there. That's one of the terrific things about Genesis of St. Charles is that they have the best inventory of Genesis vehicles. So if you're not familiar with a Genesis and you want to drive one to see what they're like, you've heard me talking about how they're luxury, they're young luxury, but you don't really know the brand that well. That's where you go, is Genesis of St. Charles, because you can drive a model there. But you can also order exactly what you want there as well. Excuse me. So head out to St. Charles. They are in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom in St. Peter's. You can also check them out at genesisofstcharles.com online. So this is luxury that you can afford. Again, MSRP is the highest that you will pay at Genesis of St. Charles, which is rare in this market. So many people taking advantage of low inventory, but not there. Genesis of St. Charles, once again, online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi. I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
Mark Cox here with a real estate update and insight from my friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria says, look, sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in a continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as fast, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also says that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, though, it is crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold. That's why I strongly suggest you call Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Get this, Gloria is so confident she'll sell your home, she will guarantee in writing up front to sell it at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she will buy it. Call her at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
In baseball, if you're with the team applying the most pressure, you're with the winner. However, this is never true when purchasing an at-need or pre-need funeral. I'm Kathy Cutis, and I'm here to personally guarantee you will never find a pressurized sales pitch at Cutis. Our trained personnel answer your questions, and you make the decisions. If you ever find yourself at a funeral home where you feel pressure, you're in the wrong place. Cutis Funeral Home, affordability with dignity for over 100 years.
Come to Shane Company to see the largest selection of uniquely designed engagement rings and wedding bands. Stunning new styles in every price range. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuysHomesstlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com, chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, or call 314-782-8000.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You know how I feel.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. This is the song that Ryan Wiggins required for when he walked in the studio today. He was feeling so good, and he felt like he was looking good.
That's not even true. That's not true. That's a lie. I didn't do that at all.
I am so sad you don't have that coat today.
Yeah,
Scooter,
that would have been good right now.
Scooter on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And I want to, maybe we need to have an intervention here. Maybe we need to face the music, so to speak. Scooter said, is there a reason that the gentleman, which was nice of him, that's generous.
Mm-hmm, I appreciate that.
But it's like he listens all the time.
Yeah, that's how we refer to ourselves.
Is there a reason that the gentlemen on this broadcast aren't dressed professionally?
Ooh, man, that just got ugly quick.
I know.
I thought
there was gentlemen. It was like, I'm going to treat this situation with respect. I want to bring respect to the room to discuss the tough topics. Why do you look like a slob?
I'm not speechless very often. Right now, I am speechless.
I know. This is your segment. This is terrible.
I don't know what to say. I had a segment prepared, and now I don't have anything.
And it was all about
trashed it.
how great you look.
Yeah, it was all about my own. It was a montage. Ryan through the years.
So I think, Brad, anything you need to say before we get to Wiggins America? Because I just want to make an ask of our audience.
Make an ask of our audience.
Make an ask out of our audience.
Ask.
Okay?
Ask.
Make an ask of our audience.
All right.
I think you guys should get on the live chat on the Andy Frey YouTube live stream and let us know if you feel like these gentlemen are capable of professionally doing their jobs and how they look.
Tomorrow I'm wearing a tux, I'll tell you that. And I have one. It's a little oversized, so it looks kind of funny.
Got like a 2-bedroom apartment right there up in your brain. When you get up in the morning, you're going to be putting on your comfy clothes. You're like, Scooter.
Yeah.
Get the tux out.
I'm going to get mad at him because I'll be sleeping.
I am dressed professionally. I'm not wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Oh.
The interesting thing here.
Don't make us fight between each other.
You guys who are watching on the live stream don't even know if they're wearing pants.
No. And you still won't once you log on because we're not telling.
Yeah. Well, I want to know what you think. We're here for all the dissenting views. We say that all the time. And I want to know how you feel about the appearance of these fine, Scooter's word, gentlemen who bring you professional radio each and every day.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins! I hope that doesn't cause you too much anxiety for
I
your
can tell you how I feel. I'm feeling pretty good. Thought I was going to change it, didn't you? Nope, didn't.
I
just said the
had
exact
like
same words of the
2
song.
or 3 thoughts, and I'm like, I don't know what he's going to say. If I planned to know what he was going to say, it would just inherently be wrong.
I would call that a pregnant pause that I allowed there. All right.
Anywho.
We are looking at Oregon today. You want to go ahead and play my sound there?
Yeah, let's do it.
A Democrat.
I will be a governor for the entire state.
A Republican.
My state needs change.
An independent.
I've had a front row seat to the disintegration of a state that I love.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we have 3 major candidates running in Oregon, and it has caused major problems for what should be a very easy Democrat layup. Although Oregon, I was looking at past years, they don't really usually have easy times like some of the deep blue states do. Oregon is a blue state, but it's a lot closer than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Looking back at 2018 and 2024 or 2014, we're talking about governor races that were within maybe 5 points. So the better the Republican year, the closer that is. This is obviously looking like a Republican year.
People don't realize this about states like Washington and Oregon, that it's Portland and Seattle.
It's just that.
Everybody everywhere else in those states is pretty red, and especially the farther east you go, they get more like Montana and Idaho and those states as far as their life situations and therefore their political beliefs.
Yeah, I don't know if this is off topic a little bit, but I don't know if you've seen that there's I don't know that this has an actual chance, but there's a secession movement going on in eastern Oregon right now, on the ballot, actually.
Oh, really?
For them to join Idaho. I think it's got to go through quite a few hoops, so I don't think that's...
But they want to join. Is Idaho cool with that?
Idaho's down with it. There's a movement called Greater Idaho that wants to incorporate a lot of Washington, Oregon, and even parts of California, because it's so much more conservative on the eastern
People
parts
always
of the
want to
states.
cut off Chicago from Illinois. I think Chicago makes Illinois an amazing state. I think it's part of Illinois. I'm not really for that, but it is interesting to think if you were to like chop Illinois up, who
Where
would
would we
get
go?
what and who would have to take what.
Yeah.
It's different.
We'd have to choose between Missouri, Iowa, Kentucky, Indiana, I think would be our options.
Our immediate area here would probably be Missouri, and I feel like it would be like Missouri would have to get us.
I heard somebody suggest Kentucky, and I was like, ooh, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'd be a Kentuckian.
Southern Illinois really identifies with Kentucky. The Paducah market extends into even parts of Missouri, and Southern Illinois covers most of Southern Illinois. So,
man, think of your senators.
Oh,
like,
I know.
Immediately.
Yes. All of them. Any of the options. All of the above.
Yeah, right. It doesn't
Just
matter.
Surprise me. It's like a grab bag.
Yeah, take anybody. This race, though, is very interesting, not just because it is a Republican year. It should be at least a high watermark for Republicans. And that should actually at least scare a Democrat like Tina Kotek, who's the Democrat running for governor in Oregon. Christine Drazen is the Republican. Who's throwing a wrench into this, though, is that independent candidate they mentioned in that sound, Betsy Johnson. She's a Democrat, who has decided to become a centrist, run as an independent.
I think one of the first things I said on the show is there a Democrat who's saying that this Democrat Party isn't getting it right?
Well, she is.
There she is.
And she's causing a lot of problems in Oregon.
It's the best tease I didn't know I was doing.
Exactly. At least for Tina Kotek, she is. Now, this has happened mainly because of, and I don't want to necessarily put it all on one guy, but there's a guy who is a co-owner or at least founder of Nike who's put a whole bunch of money behind Johnson. And now he's realizing, you know what? I don't even care. I'm putting my money behind Drazen, the Republicans. So he just doesn't want to see the Democrat run Oregon. And poll-wise, now this is what's really interesting, real quick here. Back a couple weeks ago, Kotek, the Democrat, was up by 3 points with Johnson way up. The more she falls, the more the independent falls, the more Drazen is picking up steam, which you wouldn't think was the case, but that is what's happening right now. Drazen is up by 3 over Kotek, with the independent falling fast.
In summary, JC on YouTube says dressing professionally is subjective. I think Wiggs and Brad look just perfect. They are very smart men that can dress comfy in radio.
And we appreciate you.
We'll be
JC.
back with Jim Carafano on China in a minute.
Procrastination. We've all been there. But have you been dragging your feet when it comes to creating your retirement plan? I've heard it all from, I have time before I need to make a decision, or I'll eliminate debt first and then get ready for retirement. I've seen far too many people waste valuable time for their retirement planning, and I don't want you to be one of them. Hi, I'm Ken Heisey with Heisey Advisory Group. I'm on a mission to help people recognize the potential destructive impact procrastination can have on their retirement plan. Don't procrastinate. Call us today at 314-328-6000 to ensure you get on the right path toward your retirement dream. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
So yesterday at 12:25, it was about 12:30, I think, when we got it going, Abby Johnson joined our show, and we had a really amazing conversation with her. She spoke very plainly about her experience as a director at a Planned Parenthood and how it turned her into a pro-life advocate. This is why I'm talking about that, because she's going to be in town October 27th at the annual St. Charles Pro-Life event by Vitae Foundation. This is a great opportunity for you to support the cause, to advocate, to give women the real choice, the real information that helps them choose life when it comes to that situation where they have an unplanned pregnancy or an unwanted pregnancy. How do we be a part of the solution for a problem that we identify? Well, this is a great way to do it. Abby Johnson will be the keynote speaker. I'll be there as the MC for the evening. Would love the opportunity to meet you. It is Thursday, October 27th at Vitae Foundation's annual St. Charles Pro-Life event featuring Abby Johnson. All the information and your ability to get tickets, adsforlife.org.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Clement Auto Group is hosting another trunk or treat for the kiddos.
We're inviting all the listeners to bring their kids, the dogs, and trunk or treat with us on Saturday, October 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m.
Music, game, prizes, and most of all,
lots of candy for your kids.
Come out Saturday, October 22nd to Clement Pre-Owned in Florissant.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A promise from the president. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's urging anyone who supports the right to choose to vote this fall and pledging to propose a bill legalizing abortion if Democrats keep control of Congress.
And when Congress passes it, I'll sign it in January, 50 years after Roe was first decided the law of the land.
At a DNC event this afternoon, the president says he needs more Democrats in the Senate, also pledging a veto if Republicans pass a national ban on abortion. In a New York Times Siena College poll, only 5% surveyed name abortion as their top concern, compared to 44% for the economy and inflation. That poll also finds a shift among female voters because of the economy.
In September, independent woman voters favored Democrats by 14 points. Now they're backing Republicans by 18 points. That is a huge swing in just a month's time.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The president's also expected to talk this week about gas prices, possibly releasing more oil from the strategic reserve to help boost supply.
If it does happen, it could be the first of a series of actions that the administration takes to try to get a handle on these rising gas prices. It could also announce this week how it plans to refresh that stockpile.
Fox's Aisha Hasni on Capitol Hill. Regular unleaded is $3.87 a gallon, and the AAA average still 20 cents higher than a month ago, despite a recent decline. The Pentagon says it has no information to confirm reports that Iran has promised Russia surface-to-surface missiles, along with more drones. Russia is suspected of using Iranian-made drones in deadly attacks on Ukraine's capital city this week. Meantime, the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says Russia's nuclear threats are blackmail to stop supporting Ukraine.
If we do that, then President Putin will win in Ukraine.
Instead, he's urging continued support, including winter supplies. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The coldest air of this season continues to flow into the St. Louis area. In fact, this is a chill that goes deep to the south. Sunny, windy, and cold this afternoon, 48 for the high. Tonight, freeze warning again, clear skies. Cold temperatures, diminishing winds, 25. Wednesday, sunny and cold, 52. Thursday, partly sunny, 65 Thursday afternoon. That will feel pretty good. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Overall, inflation was 2% over the last 3 months. That's down from 11% over the prior 3 months. That's progress.
It could be another easy 20%.
Joe Biden's approval rating on inflation, rising costs, as you say, among independents is 21%. Everybody knows which party controls Washington right now.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
The Retirement Advisory Group, their website, you can research them and check my facts easily at retirementkey.com, retirementkey.com. Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and the people who have come together to be the family at the Retirement Advisory Group, they're very committed and always have been during the last administration, during this administration, to making sure that your retirement is going to enjoy the best flex that it can and to make sure that you never lose a penny. This is their commitment to you. And many, many Annie Frey Show listeners have signed up with Thomas Helbig after sitting down and having a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review where he explains to you exactly how he goes through his process. If you would like to sit down with Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and the amazing team at Retirement Advisory Group, this is what you do. Just give them a call, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. And tell them you'd like to have a conversation. No cost, no obligation, just to talk. You can go to retirementkey.com.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know, the heat doesn't matter. The rain doesn't matter. When it gets cold in a few months, the snow and sleet won't matter to the outside of my house because I have Rhino Shield. You've heard me say that before, but I'm just telling you, 15 years now, 15 years ago, before I was on this radio station, that's a long time ago, I signed up for Rhino Shield. Darren came over. He showed me this great product. I'm like, why would I worry about painting every couple of years when I could do this? And I did it. And I'm just as happy today as I was the day that I made that decision all those years ago. And I've still got 10 years left on a 25-year warranty. Think about that. How many products can you buy where you get that kind of guarantee? Call Darren and let him come over and give you a free estimate. If you're thinking about painting, stop. Put Rhino Shield on instead. 877-25-RHINO is the phone number. Still plenty of time to get scheduled for this summer, or go online to find out more at 877-25rhino.com.
Business is difficult right now, putting a lot of good workers at risk. If you're a business that needs flexibility with your workforce and don't want to lose your best employees, go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Tuesday. We're glad you're here with us on St. Louis's home for conservative talk on the Annie Frey Show. We always appreciate your time. Today's YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel: will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Yes or no? Interested to know what you think about that. And also, something that I've picked up on as I'm reading these comments and they're coming in is some of y'all are voting yes, but you're kind of defining what a red wave would mean to you. So what does it take for the red wave to hit Illinois? It's going to look a little different than what a red wave in Missouri, for instance, is going to have. There are a lot of issues on the national scale that are facing this country. There are issues on a global scale that are facing this country. Have you heard about what China is doing right now in their country to strengthen themselves, to reposition themselves? Here's a Fox News report. Xi Jinping calls for China to create world-class military as he targets Taiwan. This is a story that we've heard rope in President Biden, comments President Biden has made about how we would help defend Taiwan. Fox News reports Chinese dictator Xi Jinping called for China to create a world-class military as he declared supremacy over Hong Kong and set his sights on Taiwan on Sunday. Xi made the comments during his opening address to the Chinese Community Party, that sounds lovely, Congress in Beijing. Xi spoke before 2,300 CPP delegates who will later vote to grant him an unprecedented third term as China's president and general secretary of the CCP. The leader laid out ambitions for China, declaring a determination to beef up the country's military and take over Taiwan. Quote, this is what she said, quote, in the face of serious provocations from separatist activities by Taiwan, independence forces, and interference in Taiwan affairs by external forces, we have resolutely waged a major struggle against separatism and interference, demonstrating our strong determination and ability to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity and oppose Taiwan independence. Quote, we persist in striving for prospect of peaceful reunification with the greatest sincerity. However, there is no commitment to renounce the use of force, and the option to take all necessary measures is retained. So the president of China gets elected, and I'm sure in an incredibly democratic fashion.
Completely.
Serves a term of 5 years. He's been reelected twice. He's starting his third term. So he will be in charge of China for 15 plus years. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Fox News reports the leader went on to declare China's, quote, comprehensive control over Hong Kong, which had long stood as a bastion of democracy due to its history as a British colony, while pro-democracy protesters initially offered heavy resistance. A Chinese crackdown and reformation of the city's government have successfully incorporated the city under the CCP. Xi's government faces a much more daunting challenge in taking Taiwan, however, which has functioned as a self-governing democracy since splitting from the mainland in 1949. Taiwan also enjoys extensive economic and military support from the United States and other Western countries, despite those countries technically not recognizing Taiwan's independence or sovereignty. So you have President Xi starting a third term. You'd probably feel pretty empowered after getting reelected for the second time. You would feel as though, all right, let's finally make some things happen here. They have also, according to Fox News, recruited dozens of British ex-military pirates to train Chinese counterparts. It's interesting. Dozens of British ex-military pilots have traveled to China to train their Chinese counterparts, causing alarm among Western defense officials. A Western security official told Sky News, without us taking action, this activity would almost certainly cause harm to the UK and our allies' defense advantage. As many of 30 British pilots, mostly former fast jet and some helicopter pilots, are in China training their counterparts in the People's Liberation Army on how to defeat Western military aircraft. And what is the United States doing right now? What is the president doing right now to strengthen this country against a very emboldened President Xi and his flex on making the Chinese military the biggest, baddest military in the world and at the ready?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what he's doing. That's what he's using our military for. He's not using our military. He's not spending to make our military stronger. He's not training to make our military better fighters. He's not doing anything to position us in a position that we could defend ourselves against China, because eventually this conflict's going to come to a head. If we don't show ourselves as strong, China's not going to back off. So we have to prove that we're stronger than them and that it's a fight and a price that they aren't willing to pay. But we're not doing that right now. As a matter of fact, you know, this is why we talked about the other day when we were talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and his business relationships with China. This is why this is a big deal. If he's real, you know, if Joe Biden is connected to this, that could mean that he's compromised. But really, in all honesty, what is the purpose of a military? It's to fight.
Is it?
It is.
Here?
No, we're not using it the right way.
I was going to say, I don't know that that's the way. And, you know, this is where you need to parse the issue. Do the Democrats really, I mean, to me, a lot of the diversity, equity, and inclusion, the stuff that gets boiled down into the category of woke. There are people out there who really care passionately about this and they see value in it. I don't think there's anything wrong with diversity. I don't think there's anything wrong with equality. And I don't think there's anything wrong with including people who are not like you in your life. I don't think you should exclude them. But you can't force upon somebody inclusion because it's not inclusion.
No.
That's forced. That's a different situation.
Well,
I don't believe that the people in a position to make these types of decisions, I don't believe that over the course of time they've been pushing these types of programs because they're really invested in what the program actually is. I think they think it plays well on the campaign trail.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they've gone too far with it. I think that it's almost like the Frankenstein that you've pieced together. The Democratic Party and you know the liberal movement was about freedom and telling the government to butt out and saying, I don't want to live your, you know, Anglo-Christian existence culture. I want to do something different and I don't need the government showing up and you know, saying to me, this is how you're going to live your life. This is what's normal. This is what's culturally acceptable. This is how you have to live. Liberals, I think I'm speaking to my parents' generation, spent a whole decade or two saying, we want to break all of that apart. We want what is considered normal and acceptable to be up to us, not up to the government. And now it's worked its way so through this weaving path, it's gotten to the United States military. And it's almost to me like what they can't put back in the bottle. It's gotten out and it's taken on form itself. It's made people really rich. It has caused people who want to dedicate their lives to activism. I mean, you think about how it's infiltrated this mentality, not even for what it was set out to do, which is to break down a top-down assertion on how you're going to live your life from the government to the people. No. As the people, we want to determine what we're going to do and how we're going to live our lives. It's gotten so out of control that it's in the military now. And I wonder if there are people who really, truly understand that this is really dabbling in an area where we can't hypocritically compromise ourselves and say, well, diversity, equity, and inclusion is good over here, but not in the military. If it's good, it should be good in the military. If it's valued, it should be valued in the military. When you take something and you monetize it and you merchandise it and you market it the way they have tried to do that to this idea of equity and appropriated victimhood, it is now a commodity. And because it's a commodity, they've been selling it to you and selling it to you and selling it to you. And they can't pick and choose now where it should exist and where it shouldn't. And I almost wonder if there are people going, man, I really hope China doesn't decide to go all in. Because to me, it's getting real.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I really hope that China decides not to go all in because we have, like, it's arrogant to sit here and think that we have the biggest, strongest military in the world. It's like being the person who can exercise and be strong and whatever. And it's like, I'm the strongest person here, but you don't go to the gym, you don't work out, you don't continue to get better at being that because there's always somebody behind you chasing you. It's the same thing. We might have the biggest, baddest military right now, but if we don't continue to make our military strong, to innovate in our military, to focus on war fighting with our military, China's going to pass us up. There's no doubt in my mind.
If you consider what the military actually is and the purpose of a uniform, even the word uniform is to make something uniform is to make it all the same. That is important in the military. What is more equitable than an instance where it doesn't matter where you came from, doesn't matter how much money you had, how much money your parents had, where you went to high school, St. Louisans, I'm talking to you. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, who you love, who you don't love, who you vote for. In the military, you have one common goal and you will achieve it. And if you don't apply yourself to that, you will die. That is pretty uniform. That seems to be pretty equitable. None of that stuff matters. Who you are and what you learn and how you apply it is what matters. Let's take a quick break and see if we can connect with Jim Carafano in this next segment here on China, on the position that the United States has taken on a lot of these issues that are being told to us these are the most important things. And you need to care deeply about it. Meanwhile, China is saying, yeah, we're going to have the biggest, baddest military in all the land. Stick around. We'll be right back after this in just a minute.
This week marks 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for yourself, if you're looking for a loved one, I want you to consider shopping the Diamond Shop. Whether you're on the Illinois side or the Missouri side, the Diamond Shop has been in Clayton and serving the people of St. Louis since 1910. They do that by offering superior service. It's the people at the Diamond Shop that really, really make it stand apart, that make you want to go back for your next purchase, whether it is in a few months or maybe a few years. The Diamond Shop is there to continue to earn your business, and they do it over and over and over again. They've been very successful at working with people all across the knowledge spectrum when it comes to jewelry. I want you to check out their website and their VIP program. You get the opportunity to take in special deals, special heads up on specific sales that might be coming, and it's free to sign up. It's at thediamondshop.net. You can go online and read it all about this on thediamondshop.net, and you can also enjoy 6 months same as cash. You can enjoy great financing opportunities as well. The Diamond Shop is the destination for the Frey family for jewelry, and I hope you'll give it a chance to earn your business as well. Thediamondshop.net.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes: cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up, because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Annie Frey here to talk to you about the ENTs that are going to put you at the center of their practice. I'm talking about Gateway ENT. Online at gatewaydoctors.com, you're going to learn about one of the oldest private practice ear, nose, and throat groups in the area with multiple convenient locations for you. West County, Sunset Hills, Festus. For more than 40 years, they've been happily caring for children and adults. They are the most cost-effective alternative to ENT practices that are employed by large hospital systems. Learn more online at gatewaydoctors.com.
It's ridiculous over here in Illinois. It really is.
How much worse does it have to get?
So expensive nowadays. I wait to the last minute, hoping that the prices will go down.
How much longer can you wait for relief? Governor Pritzker's doubling of the state's gas tax gave Illinois some of the highest gas prices in the nation. Yet the potholes in Chicago could swallow a CTA bus. Now Pritzker is forcing businesses to lie to their customers for his benefit.
Only thing Illinois is doing is delaying a gas tax increase and calling that a tax cut.
In Illinois, you have to sue to be able to tell the truth.
Gas station owners in Illinois are suing the state over a new law they claim violates their free speech rights.
How much longer will you be made to play the fool? In the last 4 years, Pritzker added another $2,165 to the tax burden Illinois families shoulder, which was already the highest in the nation. How much more of Pritzker can you afford? How much worse does it have to get before you make a change? Paid for by people who play by the rules, Peck.
Hello, my name is Chad with ClaymanGroup.com. I have another happy client of ours that just sold their house as is.
Hi, I'm Chris. I called the real estate agent and they gave me a list of 75 things to prepare my house for sale.
I called the Claimant Group and spoke to Chad and his team, and they bought my house as is. I didn't have to do anything at all.
If you want a simple solution to your real estate needs as well, reach out today. 314-946-9999. 946-9999. ClaimantGroup.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to The Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you're here, enjoying a beautiful Tuesday autumn afternoon here in St. Louis on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. Thank you for spending some of your time with us. We were talking in the first segment there about China and the reports that China is working to flex their muscles militarily. We've seen them do it economically. And we wanted to get our favorite guest on to talk about these issues, Jim Carafano.
Jim Carafano,
These are dangerous times.
Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at Heritage.
Did you hear that, Jim? We got fancy stuff for you now.
Stuff I am so impressed.
We appreciate you, of course, and you are worthy of an intro there. We were talking about China, and we were talking about the reports that President Xi is out there saying that it's time to step it up a notch, and we wanted to get your take on it. Jim, thanks for being here.
Yeah, just to not put too fine a point on it. So if you think, here are the Chinese demonstrably saying, we're going to get more aggressive. We're going to put more money into our military, and we are going to not just challenge, but supplant the United States in terms of dictating how the world works. And then you want to contrast that with John Kerry and saying, look, we got to find ways to work with China and everything else. So here's a number that just tells you right where we are. And remember, the Chinese are putting more money into their military every day. To get to net zero, this is this global fantasy that the temperatures aren't going to rise or whatever. China would have to spend 50% of its GDP on green energy. Now, what do you think the odds are that China's going to take 50% of its national GDP and spend that on green energy? And if you're thinking that's just not going to do that, you're absolutely right. They're going to spend their money on building up their military, taking over Taiwan, intimidating everybody else, and we're going to spend our money on strangling the oil and gas industry, impoverishing ourselves for some mythical goal that's never going to happen. Look, when they write the future history of all, ESG, DEI, BLM, climate policy, and everything else, they're going to find a root of this. The Chinese down there cheerleading for us to do all this stupid stuff. Well, they're literally are planning on taking over the world.
I feel like we're so asleep at the wheel. And the people who are in the back seat of the car are making a lot of decisions about where this car heads, where it decides to exit the road, or where it decides to hit the pedal to the metal and move forward. This administration, there are so many issues facing this administration, the southern border being one of the main ones, where we have to about face and focus on real issues facing our country. And then you see the global ramifications of a passive nature in our administration and how it emboldens other countries across the world. I'm curious how we got two plus years left of this administration. I guess it could get a lot worse before it could get better. Can we make it for 2.5 years with this type of direction?
Yeah. But why won't we stop? And I'm not, me, I'm not partisan, and I'm also not conspiratorial. And I'm not saying that people are taking orders from China like we're some kind of mass Manchurian candidate here. But the reality is the people that power the political party that's in charge of this government. People came into office and their personal wealth was like $1 million, and 4 years later, their personal wealth's like $20 billion. That run with big companies like BlackRock, which have massive influence on our economy, and are the chief cheerleaders for like DEI and ESG and all this other stuff. They're making boatloads of money doing business with China, and they may not be taking orders, but they are working with companies and people who are creating personal wealth by impoverishing America, hamstringing this economy, and doing business with China. So people have a vested financial interest in driving this country into the ground because it's personally benefiting them. And, when you say, well, what hope do we have? Well, if there's one thing China and Iran, Russia all have in common is they all have their weaknesses all their own. Russia's in an incredibly destructive war. Iran, the people are trying to throw the government out as we speak. Xi has indicated that his two biggest objectives is, one, is really cracking down on political controls within inside China, and two, not so much growing the economy, but redistributing wealth. Both of those things are liable to really increase the internal pressure on the Chinese regime. So all of our enemies have serious weaknesses. And all we have to do is stop self-limiting ourselves and damaging our own economy and our own national security. And we can best all these guys with one hand tied behind our back.
Yeah, you just have to have the attitude that that's what you want to do. I mean, we talked last week about some comments that were made by, I think it was the Secretary of the Army, about equity in the military. I'm worried from what I see, which is just through headlines, and I take all of that with a grain of salt, that it's not the priority of the United States of America to have the strongest, best military in the world. Am I wrong in that perception?
No, it's not their priority, and they do care more about how many drag queen shows they have on base and how many gay pride parades they sponsored. And look, I mean, so last week she said, well, I don't see where everybody's upset about this woke stuff. What's the really big deal? And the answer is it is a really big deal. Today, we released our annual report for the U.S. Index of Military Strength. We look at we objectively measure the strength of the military year in and year out in exactly the same way. It's the lowest grade we've ever assigned the U.S. military in the history of doing this index, the lowest grade they've ever gotten. And it is primarily because Biden has distracted, wasted, and demolished readiness and training, in large part because he's more obsessive about his political agenda than he is about producing and training our own military. So, I mean, the proof is objectively right before your eyes. And they said, well, this is no big deal. I don't know what people are worried about. No, it is demonstrably affecting the ability of the military to perform its duty. When you have people running around saying, well, we have to have a climate plan, we have to have a gender plan, we have to all take these classes. And this is nonsense that has nothing to do with providing trained and ready forces. And you better believe that the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians have taken notice. And they look at themselves and say, oh, we have our problems, but all we can do is hope and pray is that America keeps being stupid, and then someday we'll get our chance.
Man, Jim Carafano with us right now. He's the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at Heritage. They're pretty, I would say the left right now, when they have power, they're pretty consistent in their priorities, and the results are pretty consistent as well. Here's New York City Mayor Eric Adams talking about perception.
Dealing with actual crimes, those 8 homicides, and we're dealing with the perception of fear that people are feeling. That's the combination. And I must deal with that perception and the actual crime. We can't get away from the fact we have 3.5 million people using our subway system. We have to be honest about that. And those average of 6 crimes a day is not giving the impression that our system is out of control.
Is there a perception that crime is out of control, or in this country, is there a reality that crime is out of control?
No, I mean, well, look, I mean, there's a perception that crime is out of control, where there's a perception that inflation is out of control, or a perception that we're in a recession, or a perception that we have open borders. And they're just lying about reality. And the interesting thing is, and again, not a partisan comment because I don't belong to a political party, but in the last 60 days, how this administration has, found a way to criticize Iran and, not want to defund all the things, that they put aside for 60 days, getting mad at Saudi Arabia because they're not producing more oil and gas when they're trying to strangle the oil and gas industry. Not because they believe that any of these things are problems for America. They don't really believe that $7 for a dozen eggs or inflation or gas prices or crime or a problem for you. But they do believe they're a problem for them because they've got elections coming up. So for 60 days, they're going to pretend like they care about the things that we care about. And then as soon as that election's going to go over, they're going to go back to whatever they're doing. Look, I mean, they've already decided that they're going to go back to trying to get an Iran deal, even as the Iranians have put 20,000 of their own citizens in jail, murdered hundreds of their own civilians, have riots across the country. There is reckless and dangerous foreign policies. They're actually giving weapons to the Russians to kill Ukrainians, even as we're giving Ukrainians money to defend themselves against Russians. And this administration still wants to go back and give them an Iran deal that's going to give them a windfall of $1 trillion. So they're not talking about that now because they're worried about getting reelected. But they're perfectly willing to hide all the problems that we face and either say they're addressing them or pretend they don't exist until after the election. Then they're just going to go right back to doing what they're doing.
It seems like there's a little bit of a whistling past the graveyard mentality with the Democrats, and they confront with a lot of these priorities that, you know, it's very invested in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that has for the country for a long time felt like this is like a warm hug. We're all coming together. I'm okay. You're okay. Right. We're all okay. It's really inverted itself though in a top down. This is how you will live your life. This is what you will accept, and you will prove to everybody around every corner that you accept these things, or you will be canceled. That is right. The inversion of what it actually set out to be. That I gotta think that those chickens are going to come home to roost one way or the other, politically, but also specifically for the country.
I mean, to me, that's the one thing is if people don't realize that this is a political agenda, and I think climate change is the poster child for all of this. Who doesn't care about the climate? Who doesn't care about the planet? But then when you look at climate policy, has nothing to do with that. It's all about seizing political power and driving a specific agenda. It's the same way with justice, equity, and DEI and ESG and everything else. They sound, social justice. They sound like nice, warm, little huggy moments, but they're masking a serious political agenda that's about giving them political power to do what they want. And we see the consequences of that is, I mean, I don't think they're intentionally mean people. I don't think they mean to have, grandmothers robbed and people murdered and people, not being able to afford groceries or put gas in their car. But they see that as a consequence, collateral damage.
Pete Buttigieg called it a transition. Yeah, it's just part of the transition.
That's right. Yeah, so we are the collateral damage of their utopian visions. That's pretty much where we are.
Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Jim Carafano, who is our expert foreign and security policy from Heritage Foundation. The questions that are arising about what China is doing, the direction China is taking, do you feel as though they're going to take action with Taiwan sooner than later, potentially within the confines of the Biden administration time in office?
Well, I mean, strategy is a game of action and counteraction. It matters what they do. It also matters what we do. So there's two sides to the coin here. One is they have to look internally at their own challenges and when it's the opportune time for them. But then they also have to look at what we do. So I mentioned, for example, our index of state of national defense came out today. The military is weaker than ever. I mean, if you're Xi, you're saying, hey, let's let this ride 2 more years and see who the Americans are. So we're really the authors of our own destiny here. And if we continue to be indifferent to the dangers in the world, then we shouldn't be surprised when the dangers in the world come after us.
Yeah. Well, great words from Jim Carafano. Thanks for making the time for us today, Jim. We always appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye. Vice President for Foreign Policy and Security Policy at Heritage Foundation, Jim Carafano, on Twitter at JJ Carafano. Always love to speak with him. Let's take a quick break. How about that YouTube live chat poll? Have you voted in it yet? Will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Yes or no? Let us know why you voted the way you did as well in the comments. Hannah will feature those. A couple things to talk about here in the rest of the show. We've got James Corden got bounced. He got banned in New York City. What for? Well, we'll talk about that when we come back, as well as a little back and forth going on in the White House press room with Karine Jean-Pierre and Peter Doocy. We got that queued up. Oh, I can't wait to hear about it, because guess what, folks? It's about that economy being as strong as, well, you know the thing. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Coming up on the next Mark Reardon Show, Missouri Congressman Jason Smith. Also the story of a teenager who regained her memories 5 years after suffering amnesia.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So Michael's Flooring Outlet has been for over a quarter century, working on 30 years now, been serving people of St. Louis just like you in their pursuit to buy flooring at a fantastic price with the customer service that you expect with each and every endeavor to make a purchase like that. You're going to be able to transform your home in a really dramatic way. You want to make sure that you're getting a quality product for a great price. That's Michael's Flooring Outlet. They have all of the brands that you would expect any flooring shopping experience to have. And when you are thinking about maybe you've decided I want the hardwood look, there's a lot of technology that goes into flooring. There's a lot of different ways that you can achieve that look. Make sure you go with the people who have that expertise to help you pick the right one, like Techwood Select and Techwood Plus. They have truly natural visuals, dimensional stability, long-lasting finishes. They can connect you with the piece that you are looking to transform your location. Carpeting, the Mohawk Smart Strand line, beautiful hypoallergenic options, all pet options. It's all there at Michael's Flooring Outlet. All your questions answered on their website, igotfloored.com.
The best conversations happen at the kitchen table. So I'm bringing the table to you.
All around our communities, Ann Wagner is meeting with us and hearing our concerns.
Public servants need to listen to you, not the liberal mob. People care about kitchen table issues, like the skyrocketing prices of groceries and gas. And now Biden has you paying for someone else's college loans. Let's stop their madness.
This year, Biden's inflation is costing your home over $10,000. Ann Wagner has seen the harm it's brought to Missouri families firsthand. She knows you work too hard to have your tax dollars wasted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. That's why Ann has a long record of cutting your taxes and fighting the Democrats' out-of-control spending.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message to give you a seat at the table.
Common sense conservative, Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too.
Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11. The Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss it.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it.
I got some money in my pocket, got some trouble on my tail. I can hear the dials and knocking, guess I'm heading off the rail, singing. I'm talking about you.
The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you. So we're going through the show here. We look up, there's the White House press briefing, and there's Karine Jean-Pierre answering questions from Peter Doocy. Inherently, I'm intrigued. But apparently they were speaking about the economy being what? Well, as good as, like I said, you know the thing. That's how I'm going to do that here. Can I say that word on the air? Of course I can. Am I going to? No. The president seemed to think while he was eating his double chocolate chip ice cream waffle cone, which sounds amazing right now. I would go for one of those. The president seems to think that the economy is doing great. His explanation was that he's concerned about the rest of the world, that inflation is inflicting the rest of the world and it's really bad out there, but he's confident in the strength of the dollar. On the surface, that may seem super flippant. If you dig into it, yeah, inflation is affecting the entire world. Yes, the dollar is strong, but the situation here at home, the economy does not feel good to the American people. And inflation is hurting the American people. So to suggest that the inflation in the United States of America isn't as big of a deal because maybe it's worse other places is to disconnect from the experience of the American people whom you are in charge of. So let's listen in and see what what the press secretary had to say.
Following up on something Steve was asking, what is President Biden's top domestic priority now? Is it inflation or is it abortion?
The president's going to continue to talk about issues that matter to the American people. And abortion is one of them. Majority of the American people disagree with the decision that the Supreme Court made, the Dobbs decision. That is a majority of the people disagreed with that. When it comes to the economy, the president has made it very, very clear. When it comes to inflation, it is his number one economic priority, and he is doing everything that he can to make sure that we lower prices for the American people.
It's his number one economic priority. We've heard the president say inflation is his top domestic priority, but now he's saying come next year, his first bill would be abortion related. So is his number one domestic priority abortion or is it inflation?
Well, let's not forget what the president has done the last 19 months. He has made the economy his top priority. He's passed the American Rescue Plan, by the way, as you heard me say all the time. No Republicans voted for that in Congress. And it was a plan that helped us get back on our feet with the economy, that helped us gain or create 10 million jobs that we had lost. It also put money in people's pockets. It also makes sure that businesses were able to open up. Schools were able to open up. People were able to go back into their homes, save their homes. And so that was the American Rescue Plan. That's the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, which was, again, to invest in ports, invest in the infrastructure that was dwindling. And so that is something that he did. The Inflation Reduction Act, that is lowering cost for the American people. He is working on the economy every day. We just announced yesterday, hearing aids. 30 million people are going to benefit from hearing aids, saving thousands of dollars a year So that's working on the economy every day.
So he said he's been working on the economy every day for 19 months. Now Bloomberg economists are forecasting a 100% chance of a recession. So how is it that we can be barreling towards a recession and the economy is, as the president says, strong as hell?
So here's the thing about the economy, and I've said this many times. You've heard this from Secretary Yellen. You've heard this from Brian Deese, who runs our Economic Council, is that what we are seeing right now is the job market is strong. The labor force is strong. And that is not what we see usually before a recession. And so and a lot of that is because of the work that this president has done. We are seeing an economy that is resilient. We are seeing an economy that is going into a transition with more stable growth, more steady growth. And that is because of the work that this president has done. That is because of the economic policy that he has put forward. And let me remind you, the economic policy that he's put forward is about building the economy from the bottom to the top and the middle out. And that is so important because it means that we leave no one behind. It means that there's equity at everything that he puts forward. And so again, you're going to hear from the president about gas prices. That's, again, trying to make sure that we continue to keep prices low for the American people.
Last one, just if President Biden keeps going to the petroleum reserves when there are energy problems, is he giving up on his campaign pledge to end fossil fuel?
So I want to be very clear on that piece. There is no shortage of opportunity or incentive for oil companies to ramp up production. We've made that clear. Oil companies are ranking in record profits, as we have seen. They have showed it themselves. We've seen it ourselves, while more than 9,000 approved drilling permits remain untapped by the oil industry. At the same time, U.S. oil production is up and on track to reach a record high this year. Again, a record high. In fact, the United States has produced more oil in President Biden's first year than under the Trump administration's first year. Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay, they're going to move on. That was interesting to hear her on the inflation concern that you have, that I have in my family for sure. The question is, how can the economy be doing so great? Are we in a recession? And economists that are pro Joe Biden's economy continue to say that the jobs numbers right now are what make it not a recession. Does it matter to you, Brad, what the economists, what everybody agrees on calling the economic situation?
As a matter of principle, it does, but as a matter of fact and a matter of what I'm experiencing, what we understand is the prices whenever I fill up my truck, whenever I, go to the grocery store, whenever we do anything really. No, it doesn't matter. You can call it not an inflation. Whatever it is, whatever you want to label it, it stinks, and I don't like it.
Yeah, if you want it to be, if you want to call it a recession, if you don't want to call it recession, clearly we are choosing different definitions of what a recession is. People who are in charge of the economy right now are making the decisions and advising the president on economic maneuvers to try to direct the American economy. These same people have said 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is a recession. They've said that publicly previously, when it wasn't something that was directly reflecting on this particular administration. Now they have a caveat to that, and they're not calling it a recession. To me, it does and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, like Brad was saying, it doesn't, whether you name it, it doesn't change how it affects my life. You need to fix whatever you want to call this, fix it. But if you are if we are going to be able to, we've been consistent on this, change the definition of words as soon as they become disadvantageous to us, then that's one more indication. Brad, how many problems does this country have right now that the people who are tasked with the responsibility to manage and to fix, they're just completely ignoring them, and they use words to suggest that they don't even have to pay attention to them?
You want me to give a number to that? It's all of them. Everything that's wrong, they just call it something else and be like, it's not actually a problem. Or they'll point to they'll zoom way in on one little area of it and be like, yeah, but this spot right here, this is really good. And this is what you should look at. Never mind that everything else is burning down. It's this little spot here that is really good. And you need to focus on that. And we're doing a good job. Just tell us we're doing a good job.
Yeah. And that all parlays into who's going to win the election. Because if people feel like you're doing a good job, then you win the next election. And then you just do the same tap dance until the next election. Republicans have done this when they've had power, and they've tried to massage them and manipulate information and stories and narrative in order to retain power. But the truth is if they're not doing a good job, they don't get reelected. There is a moment coming in 21 days, 3 weeks from today. There is a moment coming where America is going to step up and speak about how they feel, regardless of what you call this economy. Is it a recession? Is it not a recession? Regardless of whether you identify the southern border as an actual concern for the country, whether it's just a matter for actual border states, or if, like we've heard from Eric Schmidt and many other people who are trying to shine a spotlight on this issue, that every state is a border state. Is that the way people who vote in Illinois feel? Is that the way people who vote in Missouri feel? That every state is drastically impacted by our blind eye to what's taking place on the southern border. I think that there is a strong case to be made that, of course, what is taking place on the southern border has infiltrated our area right here in St. Louis. I have had some very interesting conversations with law enforcement around this area, talking about some of the more impoverished neighborhoods in the greater St. Louis area, Missouri and Illinois, talking about how the people who have been relocated here have with them come a lot of drug trafficking. And that just spirals these neighborhoods into a very, very sad state of affairs. And we have to be willing to identify it as a problem if we want to fix it. We've got to be able to stand up and point to a set issue and say, this is a problem, we need to fix it. And we have to not be too afraid to say so. Let's take a quick break. Ryan back in studio with us when we come back on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomesaintlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, or call 314-782-8000.
Accidents happen. To make your car like new again, call Bomarito. We make it easy. We have a state-of-the-art collision center near you. We service every make and model and use only factory-certified parts. We take care of your insurance claim, any loaner car needs, and our repairs are fully guaranteed. We'll get you in, repaired, insurance claim paid, and back on the road fast. A better experience, a better price, better service, the automotive leader, Bomarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at Bomarito.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Abortion rights on the ballot. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's a message the president is repeating to midterm voters, promising to protect access to abortion if Democrats keep control of Congress.
President Biden wants Americans to remember how it felt when Roe v. Wade was overturned.
The final say does not rest in the court now.
The president told a rally in Washington if voters send more Democrats to the Senate with a Democrat-led House, the first bill he'll send to Congress is legislation codifying the Roe v. Wade precedent in the federal law.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The president also vowing to veto a national ban if that's passed. Republican lawmakers have proposed nationwide limits on abortion. House-passed measures expanding access have fallen short of the 60 votes needed to advance in the Senate. The White House sidestepping a question on whether the president's top domestic priority is inflation or abortion. Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says he's working on the economy every day.
We are seeing an economy that is resilient. We are seeing an economy that is going into a transition with more stable growth, more steady growth, and that is because of the work that this president has done.
She's also not confirming reports the president may release more oil from the strategic reserve ahead of a planned announcement tomorrow. Republicans keep blaming the president's policies for high prices, with inflation still a top concern for voters.
Brand new Fox News Power Rankings forecast that Republicans will win the House with a 15-seat majority. That's a 1-seat shift compared with last week's prediction. The slight growth is coming from out west, where key races have moved from lean D to toss-up.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. The rankings also project GOP control of the Senate if they win 2 of 4 toss-up races. An hour to the close on Wall Street, the Dow's up 192. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The coldest air of this season continues to flow into the St. Louis area. In fact, this is a chill that goes deep to the south. Sunny, windy, and cold this afternoon. 48 for the high. Tonight, freeze warning again. Clear skies. Cold temperatures, diminishing winds 25. Wednesday, sunny and cold 52. Thursday, partly sunny 65 Thursday afternoon. That will feel pretty good. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-6000 today. That's 314-328-6000 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
IZ Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
So it's a brisk 44 degrees outside right now. And the thing that I don't like about cold weather is how long it takes me to get warm. Once I go outside and step in the cold, instantly I'm cold. When I come back in, if it's not warm where I'm coming back into, it just takes me a really long time to get warm again. So I'm talking about my comfort zone. What's yours? Maybe you love the cold and maybe you love to have it cold in your house. But when it gets to be 44 or like we had a hard freeze overnight, you need to make sure that your furnace in your home, in your place of business is working correctly, because if it's not, you're going to have other issues down the line. Air Comfort Service will guarantee that they can get you into your comfort zone. Work with Air Comfort Service on the tune-up or maintenance that you need to do, that you've put off, you've procrastinated. I do it too, on your furnace maintenance, to make sure that you don't end up with costly repairs that you could have avoided had you had Air Comfort Service come out and give it a look-see. They do commercial, they do residential, and they're waiting for your phone call. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800. WindowWorld.com.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
22 years old and looking good.
Yeah.
This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It is Tuesday afternoon. We're glad you're here. This is 22 years of 97.1. That's a pretty awesome feat, and it should not go without saying, I'm happy to be able to say it, that this is all 22 years of 97.1 has everything to do with you. And we want to personally thank you for being a part of this family, this community that we have grown over these decades, and we believe there's many more to come. So thank you so much for being a part of that. How long have you been here, Brian?
Roughly 4 years now.
Brad? 13
A little
months.
over 13 months, yeah.
13 months. Hannah, I think, started, I don't know, when did Hannah start? Hannah, come in here. Tell us when you started.
Probably a year.
I don't know when she considers her start with 97.1 because she was as a part-timer
Right.
kind of doing 97.1, KMOX stuff, and we snatched her up and very glad that we did. Hannah, when do you mark your beginning with 97.1?
97.1 was a year ago last week. Or no, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was the same week of my 21st birthday.
We called you in here to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I'm asking you.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And when I first got hired here, I was hired for a board op as KMOX. And I worked, I think, maybe 2 shifts there. And then I did weekends on 97.1 for about 3 months. And then I did a little bit with the morning show. And then I worked one Annie Frey show shift randomly. And I haven't left.
Yeah, I remember. Was your first shift with us one where I asked you to come be on air?
I believe so. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to go on air? I get to talk? I was so nervous. And I'm pretty sure I said balls on air on my first day.
You weren't even referencing the guy who's named that.
No, she sure was. Yeah, it's an interesting walk. I've been here for 13 and a half years, 2009, beginning of 2009, January. So yeah, it'd be 14 years next January. And my goodness, have I seen 97.1 evolve over that amount of time. And specifically this show, I didn't come to 97.1 to be a talk show host. And people often ask me, how did you get into doing this? How do you talk for 3 hours a day? How much stuff do we leave behind that we don't get to, Brad, on a daily basis?
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that ends up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
There's stuff that we have planned out, we've talked about for days. Then we get to that day, and then something else happens. We're like, nah, let's talk about this instead, and we throw it away.
There's probably 2 hours of work that Brad and I do every morning that just
doesn't get used.
Never hits the airwaves, but it's good.
Should we just play it all right now?
No.
So you
No,
feel good?
no.
We got an hour left.
It's difficult. News breaks during the show. It's interesting to compare to morning radio, midday radio, PM drive time radio, because in the morning you're kind of getting your stab at a refresh of all of the things that happened the day before and prioritizing those things. Maybe some things break, but not a ton breaks before. Like Mark Cox gets done on our airwaves at 9 a.m. That's 10 a.m. Eastern. So you might start to get some breaking news in. But the other cool thing that Mark has in the morning is access to guests who are available at that time of the day that are working when we are on the air.
Right.
So it's kind of a give and take. There are people who have free time to listen to us now. I hear from people all the time, both sides of this coin. I used to listen to you all the time, but I changed jobs or changed shifts, and now I don't get to listen as much as I used to. Or I used to be able to listen to you all the time, and now, or I used to not be able to listen to you, but I get to at this point in time, and I love spending my afternoons with you. So we know radio, what is the average listener spends like 7 minutes? Maybe.
I think in radio, yes. With 97.1, it's a little bit longer.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about just radio in general. I don't even know that it might be 5 minutes. That people are dipping in and out. And we know that that's your experience. I would love the idea of you listening 3 hours a day to the Annie Frey Show. High five to anybody who does participate in that way. You are a superstar. But radio is a really interesting medium because pretty much everybody who's listening to radio is doing something else at the same time. You don't do that as much or probably as well with television. If you're watching TV, you kind of have to focus on TV in a way that you don't have to with radio. I can get you through your afternoon, your last few hours at work, and we can hang out in that way while you're still doing your spreadsheets or whatever it is that you're doing. It's not as easy to actively participate in television in that same way where you can multitask as successfully. So when you are spending time with us, we know that some of you are here for 5 minutes. Maybe it's just for your commute in the morning and your commute is 8 minutes long. And you give us those 8 minutes. You give us 100% of the time that you're in the car. That's 8 minutes. That doesn't make you any less valuable to us than somebody who gives us more time than that. But in the amount of time that I've been listening, or been a part of, I should say, 97.1, my first job at 97.1 was to be the digital brand manager of the station. This is a background support staff, full-time position. And if you think about the internet in 2009, this is a very, very different experience than what it is today. YouTube was created in 2005.
Yep.
Launched on February 14th, 2005. And if you remember Barack Obama, his campaign was largely in 2007 and, of course, 2008. The Obama campaign famously utilized YouTube in a really, really strong way when the majority of people didn't even know that it existed. But they dove into this platform and decided to think forward and use this platform at YouTube in a way that nobody else was doing, and nobody else, the majority of people didn't even know that it was a thing or the idea of watching the internet on your TV. I'm old enough to remember that. I mean, it was honestly, it might be 5 years ago when I was like, I don't know how to get that there. Like, how do I get the internet on my TV? And I remember feeling particularly old and wanting to push that idea away because I didn't want to try it or ask the stupid questions in a Best Buy that I would have to ask in order to make something like that happen. That was just 5 years ago. Smart TVs have really come on the scene. And in the midst of all of this, radio has just been soldiering on. Radio has been a very consistent part in people's lives. COVID disrupted that. COVID took people out of their car and their commutes, and that changed the landscape. COVID also put people in their homes who could flip on the Odyssey app on their smart device or on their computer. You can stream us at 971talk.com, or introduced you to the idea that we're all watching you right now through your screens on YouTube, on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And it gave people opportunities to dive into radio and specifically this show in ways that you hadn't connected before. Starting as the digital brand manager at 97.1, 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago, to where I am right now is such a crazy, wild ride because how I got into the studio was a suggestion by my program director at the time that I sit in with Mark Cox and that we try it out. And it just kind of worked over the course of time. We got bought by Entercom, which is now Odyssey. We've weathered that, new owners. So much staff and personnel has changed. But I have to say, specifically here on the Annie Frey Show, I have never been more proud of what we're doing every day with people who, whether you're part of the media or not part of the media, I'm so proud to be associated with this team 22 years into 97.1 because I think we're doing entertaining, important things. And if it's not entertaining, folks, if you are tuning into something to inform you, but it doesn't entertain you, you're probably not going to stick around for very long. And if you feel like your favorite radio show to turn on, people talk about Rush Limbaugh all the time, about how he's the king of conservative radio, about how he was the thought leader for the conservative movement. Those things are all true. But if you knew Rush Limbaugh and how he started out and what he continued to do, he was a fantastic entertainer. He did comedy. He dabbled in things that were outside of news and politics. I don't think when he started out thinking, I am going to be the king of the conservative movement. He had conservative ideas that he was not ashamed of, but he still entertained people. And I really think that the pendulum swing of so many people in the wake of what Rush Limbaugh made so successful, that the industry has gotten to the point where it feels a little preachy. I worked for Air America. Didn't work for Air America. I worked for, it was 1190 KRFT in Webster Groves, but I board opped Air America Radio. Randy Rhodes, Neil Bortz was on there. And Neil Bortz's first go-to fill-in was Herman Cain of the pizza place and former presidential candidate. And Al Franken show.
Wow, what a weird lineup.
Yeah. Well. KRFT, rest in peace. I would sit there every single day and listen to these liberals do liberal talk radio. That was my job. I was paid a little bit to to do that. And that's how I earn my living. And some of it was still entertaining, and some of it was just angry liberal stuff. And I would not hate listening to the entertaining stuff. And I was disgusted to listen to the show that was just ragey, liberal, ragey. And I started there, like, consider the time. I started there in 2006. I left there in 2009. Quite the shift. Was listening to Air America radio when Barack Obama was coming on the scene. That was a difficult time for a young conservative girl. So I think about St. Louis's home for conservative talk being 97.1 and the idea that we have been a mainstay in this city for 22 years. In media terms, 22 years, Ryan, you would understand this as somebody who's been both in the TV industry but also the radio industry.
Yeah.
That 22 years for one station to exist is quite an achievement. And we continue to grow and get stronger regardless of the times. I mean, and it's really 100% because of this passionate, loyal audience, people like you listening right now who continue to tune in and support us.
Especially in radio, too, because in radio, if you've lived in St. Louis your whole life, which I think all of us have, St. Louis is unique in that radio stations seem to last longer in St. Louis than they do in most cities. And 97.1 has been a beneficiary of that for sure. I don't know if it's just because we are creatures of habit and we like where, we like to feel comfortable. We go to that place that we love and we keep going back. But other cities don't have this. So nationally, when you look at numbers of how long radio stations usually last, it's maybe 3-4 years. The average station, they don't last very long. So the fact that we're just celebrating the birthday this week, it may not seem like a big deal. Like 22 years isn't a round number or anything, but it is a time to just be like, wow, that's a pretty long time for a radio station. So thank you for being here.
Older than me.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little perspective. It's older than Hannah. We've been around longer than Hannah has.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And Brad, you were somebody who, before I snatched you out of the YouTube live chat audience
Out of
and
the ether.
Twitter. Yes, you were a figment of our imagination with a moniker online, and now you're the executive producer of the show. I mean, you've been listening to 97.1 for a while.
Oh, long time. I used to listen to it whenever I was driving school buses, and I would turn the radio on. This was, I remember driving a school bus listening to, I guess it would have been Mark Cox when he was middays at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting at pickup at one of the middle schools, looking at the 8th graders on my bus going, oh my gosh, the next time there's an election, these people will be voting in it.
Wow.
And that's kind of a surreal.
Turn it up.
I was going to say, and then we went to
Then we
11.
turned it up.
Yeah. Well, I would like to invite you to, if you would like to share your experience of listening to the Annie Frey Show or of listening to 97.1 FM Talk, if you would be interested in sharing that experience with us on a voice memo on your phone, you can email it to anniefreyshow@gmail.com. We would like to hear those. We would like to hear your stories and just kind of share in this celebration that we're having, 22 years of 97.1 FM Talk, because it does not exist without you, and your feedback is always incredibly welcome here on this show, but on the station as well. So thank you for celebrating 22 years with us. If you're new, act like you've been here the whole time, because we don't care if you've been here for 22 years or if this is your first day listening to this show or this station. We're really grateful for you, and we truly mean that, because you can choose to spend your time anywhere else or literally just with silence in yourself with a click of the button. And we respect that. And we know that we have to earn your time every day. It's yours. You give it to us. And we're grateful for every opportunity that we get to spend some time with you. We're going to take a quick break and talk a little bit about Joe Biden got a little upset about a press conference that Joe Biden participated in. His last solo press conference, which was in January. Now there's a news story out to suggest that she was a little perturbed about that. Why? Well, we'll discuss when we come back. Don't go away.
Watch it in slow motion as you turn around and say,
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. 97.1 has you covered on election night. hosted by Mark Reardon, plus expert takes from 97.1 political insiders throughout the evening. Your home for conservative talk. Decision 2022, sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
Stewart's American Mortgage, he's the Bagel Loan guy, another great sponsor of this station. I really appreciate our partnership with Stewie, and as a two-time customer myself, I can strongly say that I give him my full endorsement. He can help you navigate this economy right now, your personal experience with it, and improve your financial situation should a mortgage refinance be a part of that. He does so with the Bagel Loan. His entire business is set up on the idea of old-fashioned ways of doing business, where you go to Stewie and you guys work together to get the job done. It's not a quantity thing where it's turn and burn and get as many people through as you possibly can. He takes the time for you. He makes sure that what they can do for you with the Bagel Loan, which is a mortgage purchase or a mortgage refinance or a cash out refinance, doesn't charge any fees for that. They don't exist. He doesn't tuck them away or hide them or roll them into the loan. They don't exist. You get to do that when you do business directly with Stewie. Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's hosting a new podcast? No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. Listen as I pull back the curtain on everything beyond the world of sports, interviewing influential guests, outspoken celebrities, and thought leaders across the political, financial, and social spectrum. You know me, I'll give you my unbiased opinion. A No Mercy episode drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Almost any business conference that you would go to these days requires you to travel out of state and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to attend. Well, here's some good news. The St. Louis Business Expo and Business Growth Conference is just like those shows, but it's right here at the St. Charles Convention Center November 1st. If you're a business owner or you're a key employee, gain months worth of valuable connections in just a few hours. Plus, we have a huge speed networking event from noon to 1. And the best part, it's all free. All you have to do is register at stlexpo.com. stlexpo.com.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
The best conversations happen at the kitchen table. So I'm bringing the table to you.
All around our communities, Ann Wagner is meeting with us and hearing our concerns.
Public servants need to listen to you, not the liberal mob. People care about kitchen table issues, like the skyrocketing prices of groceries and gas. And now Biden has you paying for someone else's college loans. Let's stop their madness.
This year, Biden's inflation is costing your home over $10,000. Ann Wagner has seen the harm it's brought to Missouri families firsthand. She knows you work too hard to have your tax dollars wasted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. That's why Ann has a long record of cutting your taxes and fighting the Democrats' out-of-control spending.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message to give you a seat at the table.
Common sense conservative, Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
And may you grow to be proud, dignified and true. And do unto others as you'd have done to you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Facepalm.
I believe in you, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun reading your comments, by the way. All these comments about...
You're talking to the listener.
Yes. Not you. I'm not talking
me.
to you losers. I'm talking to the listeners. All the cool comments they're leaving about listening and how long they listen and how often. It's fun. Thank you for that. Hey, and here we go. I'm going to have to filibuster, aren't I? Well, let's dive back into Oregon polls.
So the GOP reacts to report Joe Biden is upset over Joe's last solo presser. That's the Fox News headline. Jill Biden is upset over Joe Biden's last solo press conference.
So am I.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, gosh, I need them to be more specific. I could see why she would be upset over every appearance that he's had here recently. New York Times reported on Sunday that following the president's last solo press conference in January.
Holy
It's
smokes.
almost January again right now.
Well, I guess that's why he hasn't done another one. Joe wasn't happy.
Where he did not follow then Press Secretary Jen Psaki's cue to wrap it up, the First Lady tore into top White House officials by demanding to know why no one intervened. Stop for a minute. Wow. And imagine a situation where the President of the United States is not doing what he was told to do, and the First Lady is up in arms about it because he ended up making a fool out of himself.
Oh, gosh.
Jill, welcome to the party. We've all been seeing this the whole freaking time. And now you are worried that he's making a fool out of himself and nobody stepped in to stop him. He is the President of the United States. Imagine a scenario where Melania Trump is out being reported on this because Donald Trump didn't do A, what his people told him to do, and B, she was mad nobody intervened.
Yeah, or how about Kamala Harris's husband? Imagine if he was mad at people for not wrapping up her interviews faster. I mean, you talk about some blowback. You could put this in any situation possible, and it would never fly. But with Joe Biden, everybody knows it already.
The outrageous thing about this is this just confirms that Joe Biden is not in charge. Now, that's something we've all suspected for a long time, but he's not doing what he was told. Why didn't he leave whenever we told him to leave?
Tennessee's Senator Marsha Blackburn told Fox News Digital that it's, quote, apparent that the president is not in control of the West Wing. Also, she said the American people are watching the situation with the president very closely. So are other world leaders. It is apparent he is not in control of the White House, his staff, and the issues of the day. Isn't this one of those things that we all know, but then when you hear the people on the inside saying it out loud, you're like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
It hits a little bit differently when it is obvious. Trust me, I've been criticizing Jill Biden quite a bit on this issue consistently from the very beginning. I do not understand how she allowed this situation to get here. The only thing that makes me feel like you take everything that you're risking by putting Joe Biden in the presidency and his inability to cognitively perform the jobs, the rigors of the president of the United States. I don't think that that's too bold of a statement. I don't think that that's like a hot take. I think that's actually probably the mainstream take. I don't think that there's any explanation for why somebody would sit by and allow the person whom they love to take this on unless you felt it was the only thing you could do to protect something that was more important to you than the country. And that might be your family. And we're seeing Hunter Biden under investigation, potentially going to be charged. Yesterday, we reported on the whistleblower from the FBI saying that Joe Biden absolutely knew about Hunter Biden's business dealings. We have other witnesses that corroborate those statements. We have Hunter's laptops and his email exchanges with many business partners and people from across the country and across the globe who here's the thing. We have witness statements from within the FBI and within the business partnerships that Hunter Biden has. But we also have Hunter's laptops that if they don't explicitly say one thing or the other, they do not conflict with the suggestion that he was trading on his dad's name and that his dad knew about it. There's no smoking gun that defends the idea that Hunter Biden was going all over the world making loads and loads of money for the Biden family, and Joe had no idea. There's nothing other than Joe Biden saying, I didn't know about it. There's nothing out there that suggests that's the case. There is a ton of evidence that points anybody with a couple brain cells to rub together to produce some common sense that this is an eyebrow-raising scenario where the American people have a right to be concerned about what kind of position this country is in because of the dealings, the personal enriching dealings of the man who's in charge and his family. That is something that people with common sense can conclude and should want to investigate. Let's get to the facts. Let's put the story together in an investigative way. If only we had a Justice Department that was nonpartisan.
Yeah, when you broke that yesterday or were reading the breaking news about that yesterday, there's so much detail in it. I think just to summarize, this is kind of a bigger deal, I think, than it's getting credit for because Senator Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley have been on this for a long time and have been criticized for not doing something about it for a long time. The fact that they are now taking this information also from this whistleblower and turning it over to the DOJ appears very politically timed to me that a House, possibly Senate, would be taken over by Republicans very soon, that they waited till this moment on purpose. Because I don't think the DOJ is going to do anything with it. But if, like what you're suggesting, is that maybe they will, so that the family can get involved and shoot, Joe Biden could pardon his son, then maybe they will. And maybe that's one of the reasons that Grassley and Johnson waited this long, so that they'd be forced to do that.
When Donald Trump was being impeached the second time for his quote-unquote perfect phone call with Zelensky of Ukraine, there was all of this tap dancing around what was going on in Ukraine. Part of the phone call was, I read the whole thing at the time, but part of the phone call, I'm going to summarize this, and it's going to be very, very summarized here, about Donald Trump wanting some cooperation with investigations that they were doing in Ukraine. And the implication in the House hearing was that this centered around the Bidens. And if you recall, it was repeatedly mentioned as kind of the entire predicate for impeaching Donald Trump, that what this phone call was really about was Donald Trump trying to research and turn up nefarious information on a political opponent. Even at the time, I don't believe Joe Biden had won the Democratic primary. I think it was perceived that Joe Biden could win the Democratic primary. And honestly, if you remember back to that moment, until it was at South Carolina,
yep,
said, nope, we're all in for Joe Biden. Everyone's like, really?
Yeah.
Why? And then everyone's like, oh, we quit. We're behind Joe Biden. We're all like, why?
Yeah.
What? This seems like a really dumb idea for the Democratic Party.
And then we see that they got cabinet appointments.
All of these dominoes are falling and pointing in one direction, and we're all going, Kamala's out, Buttigieg is out, Klobuchar is out. They're all going to Texas, and Beto's standing on bar tables in order to be like, Joe Biden, he's the guy. It didn't make any sense at the time. South Carolina throws all their support behind Joe Biden. He wins that primary, and then he wins out. He becomes the president of the United States. In the midst of all of that, before the election happens, the Hunter Biden laptops come out. But while the Hunter Biden laptops came out earlier that year, there was conversation. The people in the Beltway knew that Hunter Biden was under investigation. He has been under investigation for years before the 2020 election took place. You know that the people in those rooms impeaching the president of the United States know these details. Have you ever been in a conversation where maybe there's 5 people in a room and 3 of them know something that 2 of them don't? The 2 can tell there is information here that I don't have that is very important to the conversation. Can they tell me? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But during the impeachment of Donald Trump, the whole idea was that Donald Trump was talking to President Zelensky of Ukraine specifically and solely to hurt Joe Biden politically. And they said that Donald Trump said, you will do this for me or I will withhold this security from your country. Donald Trump never withheld any security from that country. And Zelensky in Ukraine didn't do what Donald Trump was asking him to do. This is the entire lead up to the 2020 election where the Hunter Biden story ends up coming out and taking a big center stage moment with probably in some cases now even more so because the New York Post was censored, because big tech said, ooh, no, we can't talk about this. Russian disinformation, it's like a spell. You say it 3 times in the bathroom in the mirror and spin around twice, you end up with some vodka and a political hit job. That's basically the way they put this in front of the American people to divert your attention just for long enough. But if Joe Biden becomes president, and the only way they could make him be the president is to not allow him to be in front of the American people, because clearly Jill Biden, the first lady of the United States, even knows that he is not to be left alone with the press. The press is you, folks. The press is there to represent you, not a political party, not a political candidate, not a politically elected official. The press is your voice. And this press is very favorable to Joe Biden. And it's coming out from the New York Times that Jill Biden was mad in January. What has she been mad about since January? We'll have to find out next March. That's ridiculous. And her anger is that when Joe Biden was told to stop, take the cue from Jen Psaki, knock it off, he didn't do it. The president of the United States called an audible and decided to stay and talk to the press. And Jill Biden's frustration is that nobody intervened. The only way that any of this makes any sense to me is if they had more to lose by not being the president than they did by being the president. So they had to go along with it because none of the rest of it makes sense to me. And when you know that Hunter Biden is about to be charged, has he been charged? He hasn't been charged yet.
No.
He's about to be charged. They say they have what they need to charge him. Tax fraud, incorrectly filling out a gun form. If he gets charged and quickly found guilty for it, the president of the United States can pardon him for those charges. And he can do it, I'm calling my shot here, under the guise and the campaign promise of how terrible addiction is in this country. Partner that with the southern border and the fentanyl that's crawling over the southern border, the drugs that are being pushed in our country. I'd like to see you reconcile the two of those. But you are going to see a president be humbled in front of the country to pardon his son. And then what happens next? I'm not 100% sure, but I think this FBI whistleblower story connecting Joe Biden to the dealings of Hunter Biden, which are not part of the suggested charges that are out there right now, complicates a whole lot of things for this administration. Why is Kamala Harris the vice president? I don't know. It makes me think she had to agree to some things, and maybe she was the only one who would. It's what is going to happen in the next 2 years. It is so critical for Republicans to have the House and the Senate. It is incredibly critical. They are not going to pass any bills that Joe Biden is going to sign into law that are going to make the mainstream news. There's not going to be any bipartisanship, shake hands and come to the middle and agree on what's best for America. They can't do that. They've made it to the point where this iteration of the United States government is not going to be able to come together. There's going to have to be a sea change. It's going to have to start with Republicans who investigate. And then what happens next, I don't know. But I hope that the country endures it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the Andy Frey YouTube live chat poll. Will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? yes or no. I want to get our thoughts about this when we come back, because I feel like we might have differing opinions on this. Your thoughts as well. Hannah, you've been starring comments throughout the course of the day. She will highlight some of our listeners' responses to this poll and give you the results when we come back. Don't go away.
Forever young, forever young, forever young.
This week marks 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
We are joined right now by our good friend John Ziegler.
If there's something that's going undetected by the pollsters, it's this issue of the vaccines.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946-9999. If you notice that interest rates are rising and prices aren't quite the same as they used to be, give us a call because we are cash buyers, and so we're not affected by interest rates. Where maybe the market was super hot previously and now things have calmed down a little bit and you're not getting the prices that you want, give us a call if you have a house to sell because we are cash buyers. 314-946-9999, ClaymanGroup.com.
Did you know the Missouri State Treasurer's Office holds over $1 billion of unclaimed property? That's billion with a B. Things like utility deposits or uncashed checks and other money you didn't know was missing. This is Missouri State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick. My office wants to return this money to rightful owners, and the average claim is $300. Search your name online 24/7 at showmemoney.com. Claiming your money is always free, so search today at showmemoney.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Chantilly engagement ring, Caspian sapphire and diamond wedding band, Venus ruby and diamond wedding band. You've got to come to Shane Company to see our uniquely designed rings. Our in-house design team travels the world for inspiration to bring you stunning new styles in every price range. Try on any ring, hold it in your hand and feel its weight. Look closely at it. You'll be amazed with the design and the details. A Shane Company ring looks gorgeous from every angle. Choose from a range of engagement ring styles, from timeless classic rings to decorative floral rings, in platinum, yellow gold, white gold, and our lovely signature shade of rose gold. You'll see our team's passion for beautiful design when you look at our wedding bands as well. The largest selection of high-quality bands for everyone and every budget. Your rings are a symbol of your everlasting love. Visit the store or shop online to find the perfect rings for you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Join us for a night of fright at Carnival Halloween at Ballpark Village on Saturday, October 29th. Come for the haunting spirits and all-inclusive drink package and stay for the live music from Retro Nerds. Dress your best and enter the costume contest for a chance to win up to $10,000 in cash and prizes. We are not clowning around. Enjoy access to 6 parties, including Bally Sports Live, Budweiser Brewhouse, Sports and Social, Crown Room, PBR, and Shark Bar. For tickets and event details, head to stlballparkvillage.com/events.
Spark St. Louis is a new collaborative co-working office facility in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. The all-inclusive co-working space includes fully furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadium and arch views. Call 314-278-5297 to schedule your tour or visit us online at spark-stl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For all the times that you rain on my parade, and all the clubs you get in using my name.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. And I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't. But you still hit my phone up, and baby I'll be moving on. And I think it should be something I don't want to hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you and she likes everyone.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So we've been talking about throughout the course of the day, the midterms, what's going to happen. We had Congresswoman Mary Miller on at 12:25. Encourage you to check that out on the Odyssey app. If you're listening to us right there, rewind to about 12:25 and you can catch up on what you missed, or you can just check us out on our podcast. And, we're talking about the red wave, and that kind of goes into today's YouTube live chat poll.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, will the midterm red wave hit Illinois? Yes or no? Are we ready for the results, or do we want to get some comments
Brad,
first?
your thoughts first.
So will the red wave hit Illinois? Yeah, I think that the red wave is going to hit Illinois, but I think that it's going to hit portions of Illinois. It's not going to hit it as a whole. So when I say that, what I think is going to happen is in the areas that are pretty red, they're going to get very deep red. You're going to see a lot more of that. I think that you're going to see areas that are maybe D +1, +2, +3. You're going to see those areas going red, maybe +1 or +2. I think that you'll see that. But I don't know that it'll be like a statewide thing where we will see, I don't know, Tammy Duckworth winning.
No, you expect Tammy Duckworth to
I
win.
expect her to win. I expect it to be close, though. So I think that a red wave in Illinois looks like that race being very close.
Ryan, you're an Illinois resident as well.
I'm going to say the red wave does not hit Illinois. I would love to see that happen, but Brad, you really kind of said what I was going to say, unfortunately, because what you'll see is districts, assuming there is a red wave, it's going to have to be a historic red wave to see top ticket statewide candidates winning. I'm not saying that's impossible, but opinion-wise, I'm going to say no, you're not going to see that.
I would vote yes and say the red wave is going to hit Illinois, but along the lines of what I think we're going to hear from some people that Hannah is going to highlight here, listeners who have gone to the Annie Frey YouTube chat and voted and left a comment to explain their vote. You have to understand that a red wave hitting the state of Illinois does not look like the red wave hit for Missouri. If a regular normal election year in Missouri hit Illinois, that would be a massive red wave in Illinois. So what is the red wave in Illinois? I think that's the important question, at least that I'm asking myself to set my expectations right. I think that there are state reps right now that are looking at potential victories. If right on the other side of the river, folks, in Illinois right now, Ashley Hunsaker is running. She is an amazing candidate. You have Kevin Schmidt, who we talked about just last week. Kevin Schmidt is running against LaToya Greenwood. LaToya Greenwood is running ads on her Facebook page that talk about how Kevin Schmidt voted against health care for seniors. Kevin Schmidt is a chiropractor. He's not a legislator. He can't vote on anything yet. LaToya Greenwood finds it this important to lie in this capacity about Kevin Schmidt, and, willfully so. There's no concern there. We've reached out to LaToya Greenwood. We hope that she comes on the show to talk to us about that campaign ad and explain where that campaign ad comes from. So for people who always wonder if we invite the Democrats on, we have done that, and we are working to see if she will come speak to us on that issue. So Kevin Schmidt is an amazing candidate. Ashley Hunsaker is an amazing candidate. These are folks who are right across the river who can take blue seats in the state house and flip them red. Jennifer Cordy is running against Katie Stewart, the stooge of the Illinois Madigan machine in the Democrat-controlled House. She does whatever they tell her to do. It has nothing to do with the 112th district that you very well may live in. And Amy Ellick is across the river. She is absolutely a wonderful candidate who picked off a Democrat last cycle. She's likely going to win again. These are all people who we can support that are right in our backyard. Erica Harris is running against a Democrat in the state Senate. Erica Harris has served in local government. She's worked to lower taxes on the county board. Erica Harris is a wonderful person. She's a friend of mine. these are all opportunities for the red wave to hit the state of Illinois in a very impactful place for us, that if it doesn't turn into a statewide red tsunami, don't undervalue these local races and how important they are to restoring some normalcy to you and to your existence living in the state of Illinois, or loved ones that you have that live in the state of Illinois. And I don't think that these top-level statewide races are out of reach. I really don't. But I want people to understand that my understanding of a red wave doesn't mean that we take the whole ticket. But I do think it's possible that we could. You have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do now for the next 21 days to do everything you can, so no matter what happens at the end, you go, I did it. I did what I could. I did everything I could. And you can at least put your head on your pillow at night knowing that.
I am confident that the red wave will hit Illinois. I think it takes things such as the Safety Act and stuff that's going on in schools, crime, economy, taxes, all that to alert voters that they need to vote Republican in the election. Okay, so getting to our poll results, will the midterm red wave hit Illinois, yes or no? 52% of the people said that they don't think it will. 48% of the people say that it will. Tina from YouTube says, hopeful for the Illinois red wave. Jennifer said, I voted yes based on what I'm hearing and seeing from my friends and family in Illinois. They are more invested in this election than any other recent elections in years past. Ron said, we'll never outvote the Cook County cemeteries in Illinois. Kurt said, I voted no in the poll. Unfortunately, I think the best we'll see is picking up a couple of seats. I hope I'm wrong. Tom says, I voted yes out of wishful thinking, but believe the red wave will not hit Illinois. If it does, I will be shocked. Katie Matthews from YouTube says, this election is the best chance we've had in a long time for there to be a red wave in Illinois. Everyone is sick of Pritzker and ready for a change. I can't even say his name.
That's a good point. This is a good this election. We need to see these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Steve from YouTube said, I wanted to vote yes so desperately, but I'm a realist. I believe we'll pick up some seats, but Chicago will once again dictate the governor's mansion and the Senate seat. Lori says, I have faith that it will, just to see what's going on in Chicago and looking up for a few things. I believe we can take Illinois back.
Well, you know what? It's up to you. And the good news that I have for you right now is you can still do something about it. I got a message here from Erica Harris and Jen Cordy out right now listening to the show.
Hi.
Knocking doors and doing everything they can to represent common sense in the state of Illinois. Find your Republican candidate in Missouri or Illinois and do something today for the cause. Show up, step up, donate. You can be a part of the red wave. Make it happen. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show is up next.
You guys, love here with my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average